Hi, it's Meg, and today I'm going to show you how to cover a cake with fondant icing. So first off, I've got my two halves of my cake. They've been in the fridge for a little bit, so they've firmed up, which just means that when I use my cake leveler to take the top off, they're a lot less crummy and a little bit firmer. And then what we're going to do is pop a dollop of icing on top of our turntable so we can stick the base of our cake onto here and there like that. Just check that it is right in the middle and it's nice and level and balanced. This is the great thing about having a turntable, is it means that I can see it from every single direction, so I can see where there's holes or gaps or if something's not straight. Do the same with my second. Put that one there, and we're going to ice this one. So grab our spatula and get a nice big dollop of icing. We're just going to slowly work that one out to the edges from the middle and try and keep it as level as possible. We're going to grab the second half of our cake and we're going to turn it upside down, pop it on the top, and then the fun bit. I'm going to do the sides first. So scrape that onto there. And you want to try and fill in as many gaps as you can. So keep using that turntable. So once we've done the edges and the sides, we're then gonna grab a nice big dollop again with our spatula and do the top too. So once it's looking relatively even and flat, we're then gonna grab our scraper and do the sides. So you want to make sure with this that you hold it nice and tight towards the cake, that the bottom of the scraper is touching the board. So keep going all the way around, just gently scraping. I'm now going to go and take this and pop it in the fridge for half an hour at the shortest amount of time. If you can leave it in there for any longer, you've got a better chance of getting your icing nice and flat across the top. So I've got my cake back out of the fridge, and a nifty trick is if you get a ball of string and we measure literally from one side of the cake, just gently across the top and down the other side, it'll give us a rough guide of how big the circle needs to be when we roll out our icing. So get your icing to room temperature, but make sure you keep it wrapped up in cling film. You don't want it to dry out. Grab yourself a Coloured Icing. Lakeland have got loads of different colours, huge variety. So we're going to knead into this a little bit, give us a bit of space to pop some colour. So we'll put one drop of blue in and just give that a mix in. And it takes a while to do this. You've got a lot of moving to do and a lot of colour that you need to disperse evenly. So now we've moved the colour the entire way through the icing, we are going to grab a non-stick rolling pin. I'm just going to grab a little bit, literally just to dust down on the surface to try and stop it from sticking. So, got that one in the middle, we've got our rolling pin. And the best way to do it so you make sure that you keep getting a circle is move it a couple of degrees around, roll again, couple of degrees around, roll again, and this should give you a nice even circle. Make sure you keep checking with your piece of string to see how big you need to roll it out. So if we pop it in the middle, we've got room all the way around. It's not perfect, it's not completely circular, but as long as we've got that excess which we can cut off, it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to grab my cake smoother and just give it a once over, get any little lumps and bumps and creases out that we might have put in. So, we've got our icing ready, we've got our cake. We're going to take a deep breath, this is the tricky part. So I'm going to put the icing over our rolling pin, then move our cake, and we're going to then put the icing over the top of the cake. Once it's on top of the cake, you can't move it because it will rip and tear and start to take this crumb layer off that we've put on earlier. Make sure it's halfway across. Pick it up with our rolling pin onto the edge. Try and get the cake right in the middle at the top. Roll it over down the other side, and then we're just going to start to gently smooth. Try and work out the creases as much as possible. So now we've got that in nice and safe, we're going to grab a knife and just take off the excess. So we've now managed to cut all of the excess icing off the top. I've got my cake smoother and I'm just going to go over and make sure the top is nice and flat, as well as the sides. Make sure we get all of those creases out and give it that really professional, smooth finish. All of the things that I've used today, the cake smoother, the rolling pin, the icing colours, everything's available over at Lakeland, and they've got loads of different products which you can use. And once you get to this point, the fun begins and you can think about starting to decorate your cake.